Remember, there's four different ways, or there's two types of problems that are contained in this section. There's the reducing fractions, and then there's the identifying domain. And this is one of the domain problems. So what we want to do is figure out, are there any restricted values for x in this expression? Well, there's four basic domain restrictions that you guys need to be aware of. First is just any restriction that's explicitly stated, so it actually tells you what the domain is. Second, it's implicit within the formula of the expression. So the pi r squared type, it indirectly identifies that your value has to be a positive value. Okay? The fractions, anytime you have a variable in the denominator of a fraction, no factors can give you zero, division by zero you have to account for. The last one is a problem like this, and that's an even indexed radical. So no matter what this index is, as long as it's an even number, so in this case it's a square root or a 2, but it could be a 4, a 6, an 8, any even number. Okay? The restriction that takes place is that number that's inside the expression that's inside your radical can never be a negative value. So if you take the expression itself, you know that that has to be greater than or equal to 0, and so the domain is just finding what that solution would be. So if you solve this inequality, we add 10 to both sides, divide by 5, and we would get our answer, all real numbers, x greater than or equal to 2. And so if you wanted to write it in inequality form, you'd write it in this way. You could also identify this in interval notation. Thinking about the graphical visual identification of this graph helps you with the interval notation. X is all the values that are greater than or equal to 2. So it's everything to the right of and including 2. So the interval notation would use 2 as its lower limit, infinity in the positive direction as its upper limit. You can never actually reach infinity. The negative 2 is included, and so you get your interval notation. Either of these forms should be acceptable.